Can you hear the music?
I can hear the music.
Is it badass or what? Make you want to
It's badass. Loving it.
Hell yeah. Oh, it just makes me want to like take a fat kid at Walmart or Kmart or whatever the hell it is. Right here. We're trying to get lyrics added. I almost said lyrics, but we're trying to get lyrics added to it right now.
Yeah? What? Get some opera in the back?
It's rock. It's rock.
Oh yeah, rock. It's rock. Yeah.
It's rock. Does it sound like opera?
No, I was being very sarcastic. Very.
All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And, big shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that incredible intro outro music. And, today's episode, we're doing a live stream of today's episode. It's not just another episode, although it's going to be treated like that eventually, or maybe at this point, I don't know. But it's episode 50. Episode 50, 50, halfway to 100, one more than 49, one less than 51. I'm just showing I can count at this point, but hell yeah.
Yeah. That's like my daughter last night, she said, Dad, what's 1000 plus 1000? And I'm like, and I'm not thinking math at all. And I said, I have no idea. She says, it's 2000.
2000, Dad.
He's right. He's right.
On today's episode, we have special guest, the man with the meats that'll give you the sweats. The jerky that'll make you twerky, Mr. Jeremy Littell. Mr. Jeremy Littell.
Jerky to twerky. I never heard that one. I've heard a lot, but not that one.
The jerky that'll make you twerky.
Yeah.
That's right. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Man, it's Canada. It's the end of November. It's just starting to get cold, which I'm worried. Usually it's like cold by now, snow everywhere, but tomorrow's gonna be minus 15, which is a little bit more usual for this time of year, and today is like +2, and the last few days have been +9, +5.
I don't know how to calculate the Celsius, but we've had the last couple of days it's been below 0 at nighttime, and we got some ice. There's people out there ice fishing, which is a little bit early, but I can't wait to get out. I love hard water fishing. It's so magical.
You love being on the water hard while you're fishing?
Yeah. Hard water fishing, ice fishing.
Hard water fishing.
I get hard if it's a great big pike on there. You never know. You call them pike or jack?
Well, I've caught a northern pike once. It was 12 pounds, 12-pound northern pike. I don't know what a jack. There's jackfish, there's pike. I don't know if there's a difference.
Well, a northern and a jack are the same.
Are they the same? Okay, sure. So I've caught a 12-pounder once, and I got a picture of it on my Facebook page. I'm holding it up. It's almost the same size as me. So,
how tall are you?
5'4.5".
We're the exact same height.
I know. We've talked about this, dude, and it's
probably
so
when
great.
I've been intoxicated, and yeah.
Should we hug and kiss now or later?
We can do both.
It's not often that we find other men our height.
That's true. It doesn't happen too often. But I like being short though. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
I don't mind it. I don't mind proving my worth to someone that thinks that I'm not worthy because I'm from the Shire. Like in a world full of Gandalf the Greys, we need Frodo Bagginses.
This is true. This is true. I just had my kids watch The Hobbit the other day. The last couple of weeks they've been watching it, which is
nice.
Surprising to me.
So you've been busy. Black Friday and shit is behind us now, but Black Friday was a busy one for you, and you sold a lot of jerky that'll make you twerky. And
yeah, it was a good season. Well, it's still going on because what happens is we'll get a lot of people that'll buy for the specials, but then we still have a special that'll go on up until Christmas. It's not nearly as good as what it was for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but we sell a lot of like gift boxes, and there's not a lot of jerky companies out there. There's people there's like that jerky in the box or something that's out there, but it's a bunch of different stuff, and we specialize with all kinds of good looking kick-ass stuff. You know what I mean?
It's pretty kick-ass. I love the name of it too. It's so fucking like, it just makes me want to like fuck, that's a kick-ass cut of beef. Like, I don't know if it's beef, but I think jerky's beef, right?
Yeah, it's all beef. Well, we've got our jerky is 100% beef, but then our like snack sticks are beef and pork. But yeah, we came up with that name around the campfire. My dad and we were hunting, and Dad said, what is a name that people can relate with your age? And this was 20 years ago. And I was like, well, how like back in the 80s when people always said bitchin', that's bitchin'. I'm like, now people say that's kick ass. I said, people I think would really, really like that. And so we stuck with kick ass since 2002. I don't know if I ever told you the story about what it used to be.
No, I never heard of it. No, I never heard it.
It was ass jerky. My dad
it's the jerky that'll make you jerky.
Yeah, my dad had ass. We had plain ass, sweet ass, hot ass, all kinds of ass jerky. Oh, kick ass. Kick ass was one of them. And then I was like, yeah, we need to just transition directly into kick-ass because all of those ass jerkies are it's going to be a little bit hard to sell if you want to go mainstream. So.
I tell the story about the podcast all the time. Actually, it's actually On the Throne with Dick, but like, it's hard to sell to people and get people to come on when I say, hey, you want to come on the throne with Dick? And you know what I mean? So like, it's just called On the Throne when I'm like putting it out there on the Throne podcast. But really, it's like, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and once you're here, once you get the feeling, that hey, you're not going to see any of the above. You're gonna see one right here, but it's not gonna pop out, you know what I mean? And once people feel safe, it's like, hell yeah, On the Throne with Dick, the guy's dick. We're not seeing the appendage, we're seeing the face, right?
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
With our name though, when we put it out there, people always thought that it was super hot. Like if it's kick ass, it's gonna kick my ass, it's super hot. Well, so our tagline is it's just that good. So we have it. It's kick ass because it's awesome. It's just that good. So
hell yeah, and you're so much more than just your beef jerky now, man. You know what I mean? Like you started off as just this little midget selling like jerky, this kick ass jerky, right? And then like social media comes along and like you grow, and now what you're a production company now. You're a beef jerky company now. You have a talent agency, I think it is now too, or something.
I used to do that. We kind of dissolved that, but yeah, there's a mini series that I produce. I don't know. Do you know the Regulators?
I do now because of you. Yeah, I've been following them, and I've been seeing what's going on, and I follow.
So it was Eddie and. Well, actually, Bobby's it was his dream to get this done for his dad. He told his dad he was going to be on TV, and so him and Eddie and another guy, D-Flix, is John. I forget his last name, and it'll come to me. I just can't think of it. But they had come up with the idea of doing this like zombie comedy type thing. It was originally going to be like 8 episodes, but we kind of put it down into a mini series. Well, they had sent me the trailer for it 2 years ago. And when I saw it, I was like, I'm in. I want to be a part of this. What can I do? And so we had gotten in and did like episode 1, and I got a part in there. And then it kind of it just kind of went stagnant. Well, then I did another podcast it was called Allocated. And it was with Michael, I think his last name is Hagman, and was kind of just talking on there, and I ended up meeting someone through the podcast. Her name's Crystal Bridges, and she's actually from Canada, and she helped me out with, because she has done like casting, directing, and done a lot of bringing different cast members to commercials and feature films and all. And so we got connected. We went down to Oklahoma City area, and we did a mini series in 10 days. I mean, it was start to finish in 10 days. It was a lot of work. And now we're just trying to get everything edited and get it going. But there's a lot of funny and there's a lot of scary. I mean, our scary parts in there are just wild, but then you got the funny that comes right back in there. So your emotions are going up and down, and it's all over the place. And it's just, dude, it's fucking awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait till we get it out. We were hoping around Christmas time. I think it's gonna be a little bit later than that, but yeah, it's called Extinction Level Event. So
yeah, and I see you had Rough Iron down there building
a
set for you guys. I love that guy.
Yeah, we had Rough Iron down there. We had Toby. We had Greg Runge, Rebel. It's like I don't want to name all these people because I'm going to forget somebody and they're going to be upset. We had Ashley by the Desert, Zarbo. You know Zarbo?
I've heard of Zarbo. Yeah, I've heard of him.
And a bunch of other people, and it's like I'm gonna feel bad because I'm not remembering all these names. But we had a full cast. It was all TikTokers, and it was just it was freaking awesome. Don Sanders. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I can't remember all the names right now. If I had them in front of me, I could, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, man. No, I seen clips of your parts, where you've got the rifle in your hand or the shotty or whatever it is, and you're just like, I said, sit down. I'll put this so much lead in your butt and shit like that. It was funny, man. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to see this thing. It's a lot of people that I have now come to see, know and have rubbed shoulders with in a movie. That's badass, man. Who knew that a bunch of people that were like, you own a beef jerky company and Rough Iron is just an iron worker, and all these other people were like doing other things a couple of years ago, and now just because they decide to pick a phone up, put the phone in front of their face and make silly videos. Who knew a couple of years ago that these people would be someone?
Never in my life. It's crazy. I think you're gone. Are you gone? I think it's crazy because I originally was doing this just for kick-ass.
Yeah.
You cut out there?
Yeah, I cut out. Yeah, I got to put my phone on do not disturb mode here.
Oh.
There we go. I got a phone call come in, and I hate when that happens. But hey, it happens.
Yeah. I originally had just done this for kick-ass. I loved Rob Dyrdek, and the way that he built up his empire, and what he's done is he got people to like him for who he was. And so I originally started anything social media for Kick-Ass, but then I was like, it's just a business, and the people are not able to really connect to a business. So I was like, well, if they could get to know who I am, they'll support me, and I can give them back some comedy, show them my family life, show them what I'm doing. And that is such a much better way to get people to support you because they like you. And if they like you, I mean, you're going to want to give back more to your friends than just some company that you have no idea who they are. And so that's kind of where I tried to do that. And it's worked. A lot of people, I've got a lot of people that follow me now, and I've met a lot of people too as well. And it's been a life-changing experience. And if you would have talked to me 5 years ago and said this was going to happen, I'd have said you're off your freaking rocker. I'm like, yeah.
Dude, same. I I make content that's me, that's relatable, right? The name isn't mine, right? Obviously, because like, you know, like some of it, part of the name is, but like, you know, like I had an issue with, you know, people following me on my personal Facebook account and asking me for work. And, you know, I have pictures of my children there. You start getting all thousands of people come and follow me there. You know, it's like, oof, you know, and people were finding my phone number. They were finding my phone number and calling me. It's like, oh man, what the hell? So, you know, I can't get the blue check mark or anything like that because, you know, it has to match the name on your license. I thought about changing my name, professionally or whatever, not professionally, but legally, changing my name legally to match what's on my license to get it. But I'm like, it's just a blue check mark. Everyone has one now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't mean as much as it did before. When I was starting out trying to grind for that blue check mark, and all of a sudden in the middle of that, when all of a sudden I could get it, it was like, oh, by the way, you're all eligible for it. Just pay for it. It's like, oh man, what the hell?
Yeah. It was funny because there were, and I probably shouldn't have, but there were friends of mine that I could see that all of a sudden had the blue check, and I was like, oh, did you pay for that one? How'd you get that one? Yeah, I got mine for real. I worked for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So how did, like, why did you start? Like, you kind of touched on it a little bit. You started for Kick-Ass, but like, was it you were in the pandemic or before the pandemic, and you were just like, hey, you know, the same reason why we're all here, we're bored. We're like, boom. How did the Little Johnny jokes start? Like, what was that about? You know, like that's how I started seeing you before I even created an account. So
right. So back in 2017 is when I first started. I was down in Mexico, and I noticed all these parents that were like 35 and over were in the pool playing with their kids. The younger, anyone that was like 30, you know, around 20 to 30, they were on the side of the pool, but they were looking at their phones. And I was like, I need to be a part of the social media. So I went back with an Instagram page, and for Kick-Ass, I vowed that I was going to post 3 pictures a day because they didn't have reels then. It was just, I had to post 3 pictures a day. And with that, I got pretty much connected with the outdoor hunting and fishing. And then I got connected with a NASCAR driver, Spencer Boyd. And I had talked to a few of these these guys that fish on YouTube. They're YouTubers that fish. And one of them, Fishing More Outdoors, his name's Murray. Him and Sam Sobey, they knew that I liked to catfish nearby here, and they came for like 3 days with us, me and my buddy Carl. And Murray was like, "Dude, you need to get on TikTok." And I was like, "TikTok? That's like 15-year-old girls and dancing." And I said, "That's just it doesn't sound like it would be my niche, like it would fit me." He's like, "No, it's a lot more than that." And he showed me some videos, and I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, what would I post? He's like, just post ice fishing videos. He goes, you've got quite a few of them. He says, just start posting them. So it was September 11th, 2019. I posted my first TikTok. And back then they were 15 seconds long. I didn't know that. I posted a 45-second video of me tip-up fishing. And for those of you that don't know what tip up is, it's a 1x4, about 1.5 foot long, that's got a hole in the center of it where it's got a rod going down in there. And at the bottom of the rod, there's a spool. At the top, there's like a T, and your flag flips over. And once the fish pulls, your flag comes up, you got a fish on. So here I am, posting my first video, and I'm pulling hand over hand. Well, it ends in 15 seconds. The only thing, it was an accidental loop. All they saw was me pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and it just kept going over and over. In 20 minutes, I had 1.2 million views. I was like, holy crap, what the heck is going on here? So I had no idea. I mean, like, I had never seen views like that ever in my life. And so I was sitting here with John my vice president and best friend here. I said, what should I do? And he's like, well, just post some jokes or something. So I started posting little Johnny jokes, and they were doing okay. But then like a couple weeks later, I was going down to NASCAR race because Spencer was racing and he ended up winning, which is freaking awesome. And I started telling more jokes, and they just started going and going and going. I mean, the views were just there. And I attribute that to whether you like the joke or you don't, you still want to hear what the punchline's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
You still want to hear what it is. And so that's going to give you the view right there. And then the shares. And I think I grew, I want to say up to 100,000 followers within like 3-4 weeks. It was wild. I couldn't believe it, but I did that for probably about 3-4 months. And I was like, well, what's my purpose? I've grown, I've done this. Is it something that I still want to continue to do it? It was fun for me. Well, then I started to get emails and messages and a lot of different DMs on all different platforms that I'm helping people with PTSD. I'm helping them there with their dark thoughts. I'm helping them with, when they're feeling down. And I got one from one guy. He said he's going to watch 5 videos today, and on the 5th video, he was going to end his life. And that's when I realized I had a purpose on here. That's when I realized that I have a purpose on this app. And yeah, it may be silly to me, but comedy and humor really brings out, it can bring a person out of their dark place. And if you can do that makes it worthwhile. I mean, that is something that's like, wow, I can touch someone's life to, for even if it's for 5 minutes of watching some videos, it can, bring them out of that dark place. And that's why I continue to do it. Brought my kids into it. They love it. And it's just, it's been a huge learning curve, but I wouldn't change it. I love all of it.
Hell yeah, man. No, that's huge. Like I saw this guy's videos a couple of years ago, and someone had reposted this video, not reposted it, but liked it. It popped up in my feed, and this guy, he was talking about how, like, no one loves him, no one respects him, nobody wants anything to do with him, and he's just that's it, right? He's going home and he's disappearing. And I'm like, what the hell? So I went down his feed, man. The guy had like 50 videos of him crying out for help, right? No traction, no views, no nothing. Nobody. This guy was basically, suffering, and TikTok wasn't pushing that stuff. It wasn't like, hey, this guy needs to be pushed. People need to see what he's going through, right? So, I followed him. I liked his videos. I shared them out to people, and I'm like, hey, man, like, let's message this guy. And, that guy, like, we follow each other, and he's still here, right? And that's huge, man. You never know when somebody is going to, something as simple as, hey, how are you today? Right. Yeah. Could really change the trajectory of somebody's like decision making for their life. Like somebody doesn't get a hi from anybody ever. Right. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, how are you today? Oh, yeah. Gord talked about it from the Second Act podcast. He was on the podcast and he said there's a difference between how are you today and you say just fine and you keep walking. Oh, I'm good. How are you? That how are you opens the door to something more, right? Like, yeah.
That's 100% true. I try to say hi to everybody whenever I'm out, because I mean, it's like there was a quote back there that said, like, I don't give because I have to. I give because I know what it's like to not have. And that can be monetary, that can be emotionally, that can be anything that's out there. But I mean, like growing up for me, my childhood was I mean, we were dirt poor. It was an alcoholic family, and I mean, it was difficult. But growing up as an adult now, I know that there's just little things that you can do to like make a person's day just a little bit better. And that's my goal, is to make at least one person smile every day. And I'm fortunate enough to do a lot more than that. And so I'm just going to keep running with it, man.
Hell yeah, man. Definitely. Like, dude, I was trying to like get you on the socials for a while. I was like, you were live. I have like an alarm or not a notification set. Anytime you go live, I'd get it. I'm like, hey, I got to jump in there, right? I got to be the first to get in there so I can say hi. He sees my comment, because when you go live, the room fills up quick.
Yeah.
Right. And my comments get lost. Right. So I was like, okay. So I kept doing this. And then, my buddy Dave, the upcycler, he's like, one day, I'm talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, Jeremy, he was in my life. We're buddies now. I'm like, oh shit. Well, hey man, hook a brother up, because Dave is my good buddy. Right.
Yeah.
And then one night I'm laying there. I just got home on days off. I spent a month away from home, and I get home on days off, and the wife and I we're getting some alone time in, right? We're doing the horizontal shuffle,
right? I mean? Getting it in.
Right? He's getting some of that Dick Frost, and so I get a text from Dave, right? And he's like, "Hey, get in my live right now." And I'm like, "Man, I'm busy," He's like, "Get in my live right now." So I come in his live, and lo and behold, he's live with you. I'm like, "Shut up." Right. So I said to my wife, I'm like, sorry, babe, you got to wait. You know what I mean? Like, you're not first tonight. Yeah, Jeremy needs some of this Dick Frost first, So I jump in, and Dave's like, hey, this is my buddy Dick, you got, and then you followed me, and then I was like, oh damn, dude, that's such a great feeling. And then I'm like, okay, where do we go from here now, though, right? Rosie O'Donnell follows me too, but we never talk. We haven't talked in 3 years, right? Like, she's just a follower, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Now that I've got him here, now I've got to like interact with him maybe even more. I'm not just here to say, hey, look who's following me, right? I actually want to talk. I actually want to engage and hang out. Man, we have each other on Snapchat, and I bother you to no end over there on Facebook. You're crushing it over on Facebook, man. Good for you. And you give me tips. I reach out and I ask you for tips and stuff like that on growing on social media, and you know what I mean? And you're always there, and you're happy to help. You're not too big and you're not too in your head to like, hey, you know what? Like, I can't help that guy. He's got to figure out like I did. No, man, like I'm figuring it out, but like, if I could help someone or you can help someone, let's help each other. No gatekeeping. We talked about that with Grayson too, and Grayson's trying to mingle with you right now too.
The biggest thing is what happens with a lot of the people. I mean, not a lot. It's a few. When they get one viral video, and all of a sudden I'm famous. Like, they pretty much think that they're famous, and their whole mindset changes, and they start acting like they're special and like their shit don't stink. But man, we all put our socks on, our pants on, one leg at a time. And I learned this when I went down to first meet Spencer from NASCAR, and he and I hung out, and I mean, there was nobody that knew me at that point in time, but he was a NASCAR driver, and we were hanging out in his hauler, and he was like, oh man, I'm supposed to practice. I got to get to practice. I got to do my practice. And he stripped down naked in front of me and put his clothes on, like put his suit on. And I was like, huh, we're all same. We're all the same. And so,
was he packing or what?
I don't think I looked. I just saw that he was like stripping straight down naked, and I don't think that I looked. But it was like an epiphany for me, and that we're all kind of the same. And so for me, the majority of the people that I know that are TikTok famous or even social media famous, you got lucky with your phone. Now, you may have it's all about the right place at the right time. You were at the right place at the right time, and I mean, there's a lot of amazing creators out there that don't even have a fourth of the following that I do, that I would feel are so much better. And they just don't get the credit where credit is due. But the people that have grown up and have one viral video, and they may have, let's just say 100,000 followers and stuff, and they think that their life is going to change. It's not really going to change all that much. You have to stay consistent, but stay true to who you are, because if you're not authentic and you're not humble and you don't stay the real you, people are going to see through that so quickly. I mean, they notice if I got a zit on my face, man. I'm telling you, it don't matter what it is. People out there are going to tell you how they really feel. And so you have to show through your videos that, you're an authentic person, and you got to continue to show that and show interest in people,
Yep, and that's true, man. The people know, anyone creating videos out there that thinks that they can fool anyone, people know. They see things, right? People will go down to your fucking first video if they have to. They will hunt. They will search for it to find what they're looking for. They're better than the FBI I found on the internet, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not being authentic or true to yourself, they'll sniff that out, it's wild. It's so wild. I tell a story about a guy named Robert Gillis. I followed him. He's from the East Coast of Canada, and I follow him and he follows me. And one night I was on his live. This guy was just drinking, putting it back. He put down like a couple bottles of whiskey, some champagne, yada, yada, yada. Like, he was going hard. The guy, I would say a couple bottles, like not big bottles, probably just like little ones, but he was going hard. And the guy's like slurring his words. He had like 1,000 people in there maybe watching him do this from all over the world. And the guy passes out on live. And there's like, at this point, maybe 800 to 900 people have stayed to watch this guy passed out. And he's like, and so some girl in the UK is like, I think he's dead. I think this guy is dead. And everyone's like, nah, he's snoring. He's very clearly alive. Well, she went down his videos, found out where he lives, where he's from, yada, 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 called the police in his town. We all watched the police walked into this guy's house and like woke him up and stuff like that. And then like kind of put I think he was on his laptop. They just closed the live, but like it left you in like in a buffer. So everyone was still in there. And it was funny. There was like 700 people in there waiting for this guy to boot and rally. We all waited there for like an hour at like 2 a.m. waiting for this guy to rally back. And it didn't happen. But a couple days later, he was on live, and I went in there, and I'm like, buddy, that was some show. And, he's like, yeah, man, some girl from like the UK, like found out where I am and where I live, and like called the police there. And luckily my buddy in my hometown is a cop, and he knew who I am and where I was. And he's like, I know that guy. And he went and, he went and woke him up and made sure he was good and stuff like that, right? That's funny, man. Like, people are like that hardcore.
That's insane. I would flip out if someone just walked into my house. Yeah. That wouldn't be good for them. Oh.
He's a cop. He was a cop.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, so the door was unlocked and he just kind of walked in.
Yeah.
Man. Well, that'd be scary. I mean, I've never had cops just come into the house. I mean, maybe when I was like in college and stuff, but for parties and things like that. But I've never, that would be wild. I remember in the beginning of TikTok when a lot of people did sleep lives. Yeah, I've done them.
Dave does them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've done one with Dave. Like, he was upstairs, I was at his house, I was in the basement of his house, and like we were talking to each other on live from like one floor down, and then we just passed out together and just slept like that.
I love it.
I've done sleep lives too, like at camp and stuff. And I have this doll in my room that I got from someone on TikTok, and it's creepy as shit. And I put like another like device, like a tablet down playing creepy music. I'll dim the lights and I'll put the phone on her, and then I'll go to bed.
Like you got your little voodoo doll.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, man. Hey, Jeremy, do you know what viscosity is?
Viscosity?
Yeah, viscosity. Yeah.
I think I've heard the word, but I don't know the actual meaning. Could you use it in a sentence, please?
Yeah, like the viscosity of that fluid, man. Like it was thick. Like damn boy, that shit that guy just took was viscous.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what it is then. I can't give you the definition, but I get what you're saying.
So where I'm going with it is the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman. The Mudman deals in the viscousness or the viscosity of drilling fluid on the rigs, right? So www.mudmanmarket, or I think it's mudmarket.com now. And, for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs, if you got a thick load, the Mudman's got your back.
The Mudman will take care of that thick load.
Mudman will take care of your thick loads. Yeah. Yeah, the Mudman is the shit. Like he's been sponsoring the podcast now for this is episode 50. I can't believe we're on 50. He's been sponsoring the podcast since episode 14. So roughly like 34 episodes, 36 episodes.
Right on, man.
And originally it was only supposed to be like a 5-episode run, but here we are 36 episodes later. And shout out to that guy. I tried to get this episode's been on my mind for a while. I wanted Mike Williams from the Deepwater Horizon on there. Very niche specific oil and gas content. Lots of stuff happened there. And the Mudman helped me get his phone number when I couldn't find it. He's like, let me know. I know people all across the world. Let me know, and I'll try to get that for you. Tell me his name. 8 hours later, he had me his phone number. And shout out to Mike Williams. I understand, shit happened and, PTSD, and it's bad if you're listening, which probably not. He blocked my phone number. I still got to call him from other people's phones, I tried. I didn't hear a no. All I heard was a blocked number. So, yeah. And the Mudman was willing to pay for flight and hotel for me to go do that one in person. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah, man.
I ended up, that's kind of crazy. There was when I was doing my Instagram thing and trying to post and do all that stuff for Kick-Ass, I had been trying for like a year to get Hannah Barron's phone number. Now, do you know who Hannah Barron is?
I don't know who Hannah Barron is. No.
Hannah Barron, she is like they call her like the catfish queen. She noodles. She's like where she goes and hand fishes for these huge catfish. And she's like 5'1", I think, and about 115 pounds. I mean, her and her dad go out. Her dad's name's Jeff. And I had met this guy through Instagram, Jason Wilson. And he and I were talking, and because I had a lot of people that were promoting my stuff, I would send them products and they would just, try it and then send me a couple pictures. And it was like a couple of days after we were talking, and every Tuesday I would go to the radio station here in town and we would do the Kick-Ass Mystery Prize, where I would bring something in and the DJ would try something new. He wouldn't know what it is, and he would try something new of ours, and then we would give it away. Well, it was that Tuesday morning I had gone in, and Jason called me, and I didn't answer. And he texted me, goes, "You need to answer your phone." And so I'm just about ready to go on air, and I called him, and he's like, "I got Hannah Barron's phone number." He says, I've known her and her dad for a while. He said, "Here it is." And I'm just about ready. And I'm just like super excited. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I finally got it. I can't believe it." And because like they're so huge in the hunting and fishing world. And Hannah's, I mean, if you look at some of these IG girls, you can tell that they're posing. You can tell that they didn't catch that fish. They didn't shoot that deer. They didn't do any of that stuff. but she was like the real deal. And I know that her followers knew that. And so that's why I wanted to get in contact with her so bad. And since then, I've become good friends with her and her dad. And we've met a few times, and it's cool. And the part of the growing on like the social media is I believe in my mind right now that I am probably 3 people away from meeting absolutely anybody that I want to meet.
We're all like that, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane, dude. Like, dude, I took a chance, right? When I first met Dave, right? Like Dave and his buddy Donnie, who is now my buddy Donnie, right? They reached out to me. They're like, hey, I only had 4,000 followers, right? And they reached out to me. Dave had 75K, where I am now. Donnie had almost 200K. And they're like, hey, you're in Alberta, we're in Alberta, you make kind of the same kind of content. Let's get together. Let's do this. Come hang at my house. I didn't know Dave from a hole in the wall. And I said, yeah, let's go. And I slept at his house for the whole weekend, right? A stranger's house. I just showed up, right? There's a video with him possibly tracing something on my face while I was asleep. But yeah, so I didn't know Dave from a hole in the wall, and I slept at this guy's house. Well, I met Donnie. Donnie was huge to me. Donnie, oil and gas. You know, we met, we hung out. But where that came from is then they invited Uncle Hack. Uncle Hack is like a pioneer to me, like in my niche where, you know, he makes oil and gas related content and I make oil and gas related content. He's been doing it for like a long time, 7 years or something like that. And so I'm like, hey, so I'm like, shit, no way, right? And then, you know, I grew to like 7,000 or 8,000 followers, something like that, from hanging out with them for one weekend. And then, you know, hanging out with Dave, I've met some very influential people in my circle, right? And then hanging out with Dave, I get connected with Jeremy Littell, right? And then, you know, where else does it go from there? You know what I mean? It's what, 2 degrees of separation or whatever it's called.
Right. It's crazy. I've met some really cool people. One that was wild, and this was also through Jason Wilson. A couple of years ago, it was right before Thanksgiving, and I went down to Savannah, Georgia for this. It was like a gun expo, some type thing down there, and Nine Line Apparel was there. And our first day when we pulled up, it was me and John. Jason runs up to me and he says, go sign your credentials and your authorization form. He says, you're going up in a helicopter. And I was like, I'm going up in a helicopter. He goes, yeah, and you're going to be shooting out of it into a pond in a target. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. That's just freaking wild. Well, I'm there and I stand in line, and it was me going up. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. And I'm going up in line, and I've got all these people are standing around me, and then it's Chuck Liddell. I'm going up in this helicopter with Chuck Liddell, this great big huge guy, and then there's tiny little me standing next to me, took pictures together. But it was wild, and that was like one of the first people that I thought were like really well known that I had met, and it was pretty cool. It was cool.
That is pretty badass, man. I'm trying to think, like, so far it's just been like other creators, which is amazing. I love that. You know, but the opportunities that have come from it, you know, like I get to work with Dirty Hands Clean Money now. You know what I mean? That's huge, man. Like a clothing brand that I see everywhere. I got the heat waves, the glasses and shit. And you know, we're working on other things too, you know what I mean? And like now, you know, what's coming up next is I want to start traveling to meet these people, right? Like I want to go to Minnesota. I want to hang out with Jeremy. You know, there's a lot of bigger creators all over the place that, you know, I've rubbed shoulders with just from being in like this circle alone, the Dirty Hands Clean Money. Larry's in that circle. Larry's been on the podcast, but like I already know Larry, but there's other creators that are a part of that are like, whoa, you know, like not part of the oil and gas niche, but part of blue collar niche. Right? And like, and that's huge to me, and it's been one hell of a ride, man. The internet is crazy. And the ironic thing is the further down social media I go, the less social I become.
I get that.
Yeah.
100%. The bigger you get, the smaller your circle gets.
Dude, you learn real quick on who's in your corner and who's not, right?
Yep.
And you find out that, like, you meet all these people and you just want to be friends with everyone. Not everyone wants to be your friend. Some people want to take what you have, right? And the jealousy monster is huge for some reason. I don't know why. It's hey man, I knew someone for when I sat back and looked at it, I kind of went into business with someone that I only had really known for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Right. Never met. And then we did meet, but afterwards went into business with someone for 4 months and I expected it to work out. That's crazy, right? And when I got bit, I was just like, what the hell happened there? I thought we had something, right? And then looking back on it now, I knew that person for 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah. You learn real fast. And a lot of it is by trial and error. Because we've never done anything like this before. And it's not like you grew up into it, and it's been a lot of learning. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that have been in it for a long time that are just trying to screw you. They're like, hey, this is an opportunity to make some money. And I've had to learn, along with some friends. Well, I tell you, Justin Nunley is a guy that is a real good, true blue guy.
I like Justin's content.
He is one that if I'm doing well, my friends are going to do well. And we talk. It's funny because the conversations that we usually end up having are like 1 o'clock in the morning, like if he's driving or doing something. But him and I became friends pretty quickly when he first started, and he invited me down to Bristol to go to the NASCAR down there. And, we ended up meeting and hanging out and doing a lot more. But the guy he's also in ELE as well. Him and OG Taco. Do you know who he is too? He's also
I've heard of that.
Hello guy.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah. But I would say that there has not really been anyone that I met from TikTok or social media that I did not like. I've been very fortunate. But I've been able to kind of weed people out too. I mean, I'm not going to say there aren't people that I've seen online that I didn't like, but I mean, I've been able to weed out people that I've actually hung out and had a good time with,
Yep. I'm actually trying to get Justin on my podcast, right? And it's all about hitting at the right time. You know what I mean? I've emailed, I've sent, I put it in the comments, right? I will get him one day. I'm very persistent. Like I told you, that one, where was that? It was in your live or something like that. I'm like, you're like, sorry, man, it's not working out, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, hey, bro, I got nothing but patience and time. You know what I mean? Like I'm a persistent little dick, and I'll fucking be erect right in your face. I don't even care. And
I'm glad too, because I feel like how long has this been coming? Like 3-4 months?
Oh, it's been coming a long time,
Yeah, it's been a long time that we've been trying to set this up, and it's like there's been times where we've had it planned and it didn't happen, and then it's just been. But I'm glad we're able to do this today. I mean,
we've been edging for a while. Yeah.
We're coming into the climax.
Yeah, we're coming into the climax. We've been edging. It's been right there. We've been right on the cusp. Now it's the home run derby, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, man.
My face looks so dang red on here. I've been tanning. I'm going to Mexico.
Oh, you're going back to Mexico again? How often do you get to go down there?
Well, I usually go December 5th through the 15th. I call that my appetizer. and then I go back usually like mid-February to mid-March, and then I'm home the rest of the year. So.
I think I've been trying to get you on since last February.
It's been that long. Yes.
Yeah, because you went down
Mexico.
You went down to Mexico and you're like, hey, I got a couple days down here where I'm free. Let's do it. And then, I messaged you. I'm like, how much do I message this guy before it's annoying to him? No. Right. And I'm like, fuck it. Message. He doesn't read it. I'm like, okay, let him catch up on those messages first. And then, dude, I forgot I had your phone number. Right. I'm like, oh, why don't I just text this guy, And then I start texting, and then it's like, man, maybe it's too annoying now, but I don't care, right? And then so I'm getting deep down there in the flaps, the skin flaps, you know what I mean? I'm finding ways in, and I will. And same with Justin Dunley, right? It's all about timing, right? Like,
yeah.
If he ever goes live, I don't think I've ever seen Justin live, but if he ever goes live, it's all about like, okay, so he looks away from the camera for this long, then looks back. As soon as he starts twitching a little bit, send your comment, right? Because then it works. It works. I got Riker in the 6. I had her on there, and that's what I did with her. I'd send like 5 or 6 comments all at once, and then I noticed I'd watch her patterns, look away, look back, look away, look back, and then do this, and then come back. And as soon as she moved, I'd send it, and then it's like, oh, hey, Dick, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, there we go. I'm in, right? Go. And then, yeah.
That works.
Oh, dude.
I remember when I first started on TikTok, what I wanted to do to get noticed is I went and sought out all of the biggest TikTokers that I could find, and then I would – how people leave like first comment or whatever. I would try and leave the first comment, but something witty or something funny so that people would actually check out my page. I never left first comment first or none of that. It was just, for me, it was a way to get people to, because I was getting comments, and I don't even remember what they were, but I was getting comments with like 20,000 likes on them and stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm growing.
All right. Yeah, man, because if people see like a witty comment, they like it, then they're going to go check out your profile, right? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, this guy's got content, lots of it. Oh, that's funny. Follow, right?
Yeah.
And like, I get a lot of that stuff too, right? And then like when I go to follow people back, it's like, well, okay, let's go check. Okay, that's a funny video. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you've got content, I want to, and I'll start looking at the content. If I like the content, I'll follow back, right? I don't want to be some empty follower for yours, right? If I don't like your content, it's nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, that content is not for me. It's for someone, but it's not for me. You're not a bad creator. It's just, It's not for me, right? And I don't want to be a bad follower. I don't want to be a bad friend. So
I like that.
Hell yeah.
Keeping it authentic, man. Keeping it authentic.
I have a video. Yeah, I have a video right now that's it'll hit 1 million by tomorrow. The way that it's been growing the last couple of days, TikTok used to be, if it didn't hit 1 million within that first 24 hours, it wasn't going to.
Right.
Now it's got that slow growth, right? Yeah. Where that, it's delayed explosions and stuff like that. And last I looked, it was almost at 700,000. Yesterday, it was at like 4. So, it was me at work. People like seeing the work videos, right? But like I was actually like in a tank and I was getting dirty, right? And I wanted to make it, but I had not enough cell service to pop TikTok up. And I'm like, fuck, whatever. So I put it in my pocket, and then I'm like, hey, I put my camera on. I'm like, I gotta get it. I want to do this video. So I just put my regular camera on. I handed my coworker. I'm like, hey, just catch me doing some shit in here. He's like, okay. He held it up. And he caught me doing shit on the camera, handed me back. When I was able to get cell service, I was able to put in the music that I put, this background sound I put on it, TikTok suggested it. And I wasn't going to put something like that, but TikTok suggested it. It put it on the back. I'm like, fuck it. That sounds cool. Fucking put it up there, man. And here we go. It's another, it's another video that, it's one that I'm proud of anyway. It's something that I like, that I would watch. So.
Right. That's awesome. I love when you do videos that you really, actually, I don't love it. I'm saying this though. I'm saying the opposite. When there's videos that you put a whole lot of time into, do absolutely nothing usually, but the ones that you just kind of throw together and are quick and easy are the ones that just freaking blow up for it.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
My first million view video was like that. You know, I put all this time and effort into other videos and be like, okay, that's a good idea. Okay, I need the right frame, the right lighting, the right outfit on, right? Yeah. And like, okay, I gotta say it like this, and then you gotta delete it because, you know, hey, I didn't like the tone I had in that. I want it to be a little more fun or a little bit less serious, and you know, and then so I put it up, and I'm like, you know, it's like, you ever notice how weird it is having siblings? Like, you spend the first 15 years of your lives hating each other, and then one day you wake up and bam, this motherfucker, all right, you know? And then, and I was at work in the middle of the night. I posted it at like 2 a.m, right? Weird time, weird everything, right? And not even my niche. And, you know, I was at work, right? Usually it was work stuff. I threw it up, and I looked back the next morning, and I'm like, wait, does that say 1 million? What the hell? That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I even had a cake made for my first million view video.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah. Hey, you never know when those million. Well, for people like you, I mean, you get millions. Like almost all your videos hit at least 1 million, right?
Not lately. It's probably been. It's funny because I mean, I guess as you grow, like the things like this, as far as like millions, like it kind of loses its feel. But for me, I think it's like once every 2-3 weeks now that I'll be hitting 1 million. But
nice. Yeah.
You think about it though, like for some people, it's like, holy crap, like that's freaking awesome. But when you get to that point where you post, I mean, there were times where I would post like 4 videos and it'd be 5 million, 10 million, 12 million. I had one that had 80 million. You get those ones that are going way up like that. And then it goes down to something where it's like 100,000. It's like, that's where you get in your head. You're like, okay, well, what am I doing? Why don't they like me anymore? What's going on? But you got to get to the realization, like, that's not going to happen all the time. And, you know, the more that you grow, you got to get used to it. But you still got the people that are following, and you still got the people that want to see it, that are seeing it. And so it becomes less of the amount of views that you have versus the quality of the people that have seen that video. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep. We've talked about that on here all the time. You know, I've had like three or four 1 million plus view videos this year, right? And I think that's great. That's a great year. 3 or 4 1 million plus views. That's amazing, right? One of them was like 3.5 million or something. I'm like, fantastic, bro. What a great year, right? And we're about to hit the like 4th or 5th one, whatever it is, you know. And you know, for me, is if it hits 10K, that's a success. You know what I mean? But you know, now we're going less towards like what you just. Now we're going less towards views, and we're going more towards how did it make me feel to make that video and put it out there, and you know, the right people will see it. You know, like you know, when you go viral, it's counterproductive. More people are seeing it than what need to, and you're gonna have a lot of stupid comments. You're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna hate on that, right? And hey, all the better, you know what I mean? Like, they can make your video go. Right now, like that video that I'm talking about that I posted, it's probably doing so well because for some reason an argument started in the comments section between like 4 or 5 people, and they're just carrying it on, and I'm just like, what the hell are you guys arguing about?
Yes.
Right? I haven't interjected. I haven't commented back myself, but I am following it. I was like, this is funny, you know, like good for you guys, you know.
That does a lot. And for me, it usually turns political. And once anything starts political in there, people are going off. And I'm just like, yep, you're just popping them views up for me. I'm like, just keep on going. Yeah.
Buddy comments on the one video thinking he's trolling me, thinking he's doing something. And I'm commenting back, and he's like, obviously you're triggered. You're commenting back. I'm like, nah. I'm taking advantage of how you think your opinion of me matters.
Yeah.
And your need to be heard for some reason. And I'm commenting, I'm leaving a comment back, suckering you into coming back and commenting again.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because that you've come back like 8 times now, you've helped push the video that much more. Thank you. I'm not triggered at all. You can't hurt my feelings. You've tried. You can't do it, right? And I've had my boss says worse shit to me during the day at work than you'll ever say, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And yeah, oh man, it's a wild time, dude. And once I try to avoid politics at all costs.
Oh, I don't. No, I'm completely neutral on everything that's on my page typically.
Yeah.
Outside of my deer hunting, because I love deer hunting, I'll get some hate on that, but for the most part, it's fine. But I have found ways to get people to interact more. It's like there's one video that it's almost 3.5 years old. I was picking my nose, like purposely picking my nose while my kid was telling me a joke. And people still to this day were like, "You are so disgusting," and they'll just go off on it. There will be a time where they're going off on it for like 2 hours about me picking my nose, and I'm like, yes, it worked. It worked. Because obviously I'm not going to normally, I'll pick my nose all the time, but I'm not going to do it on a video if I know that my kid is doing a joke. But
yeah,
if you want interaction, go right ahead, man. Pick your nose. Make it happen.
Yep. Well, 2 years ago, I got a Kit Kat bar. And it had melted a bit. So I couldn't pull it apart. So I started eating it like a regular chocolate bar. And people are like, you're a barbarian. Who eats a Kit Kat bar like that? And like, no matter, I was saying something controversial in the video. Nobody cared what I had to say. They were all focusing on the way I ate that Kit Kat bar. Yeah. Right? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So now it's not what's coming out of your mouth or what anything like that. It's what's happening, what you're doing, what's in the background that people are focused on, right? And so I went away to the mountains that summer. That couple weeks later, I went away to the Rockies in Banff here, and I stopped at the candy store. I'm like, hey, Casey, you want to see my wife? You want to see something? So I bought a Kit Kat bar, and I sat down on the bench. I'm like, just film me. So she put the camera on, and I chewed the Kit Kat bar like that again, posted it, same thing. People went nuts on the way I ate the Kit Kat bar. That video I was talking about last winter, where 3.5 million views, I was starting to make the video, and I'm like, nah, this ain't right. I got to do something. I got to do something different in this video. I can't just be sitting there. I drove the 20 minutes back to camp. I grabbed a fruit by the foot. I drove 20 minutes back to where I was filming it. I pulled over, and I was just chewing on the fruit by the foot, just eating it. I had the caption in the video, and then lo and behold, 3.5. I can't tell you how many people commented on the fruit by the foot.
Yeah. People just want stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Just stuff to talk about. And it's wild. It's a crazy, crazy game out there. And I don't think we'll ever completely figure out that algorithm, but if you can get people to interact, that's gonna help you to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely, buddy. So when did you, because your kids are starting to get into the little Johnny jokes, or they were anyways. I don't know how much they're into it now, but they were into it, getting into it for a while. At least your daughter, Brielle. I know she was like really into it there for a bit.
And she really, really wants to continually now as she's growing up. I'm a little leery by her being a girl. I had a public Snapchat for the last 3 years, and I took it down. My Snapchat is only for people that I'm friends with now. I started to get people, when I would post on my public story, people would start screenshotting whenever I put my kids on there. And
that's wrong.
Yeah. And so I just took it down. I'm letting her do a little bit more. Dominic, he, in the beginning, he was 6 years old when he started, and he loved it at that. Now he's getting a little bit older, and he wants to be in sports and play video games. And it's like, all right, let's do a joke. And He's like, yeah, I don't know. So I got to throw him a little money. Anthony's here. He's hit or miss. Sometimes I'll ask him, and he's for it. It's got to be like the right time with the kids. Like if they're, not really doing a whole lot, I'm like, hey, I found a good one, and I'll let them hear what it is, and then, I could get them to do it. If they're kind of like on the fence, I throw them a $20 bill, and I'll usually get them to do it. But yeah, they've been good, and it's really helped with the success. Well, my TikTok page, Littell Johnny, that it's been banned like 9 times. It's on a current ban right now. They continually say that it's a minor that's running my account, and they've got my driver's license. They got a picture. They have my social security number because I'm in the creator program. I have done this at least 6 times where I've sent them that. I even had to send them a picture standing next to my driver's license. So that was so my face in it. I mean, I have done so much in these bans. I've never ever had a community guidelines violation.
That's wild. You're not a real TikTok creator then. You know that they say, right? Like, you're not really a creator until you've been banned a few times or had a few violations.
You look now on my other page, I used to get a violation probably 5 times a week.
Jeez.
I used to. Now I don't hardly get any of that stuff. But it used to be a lot. And now I haven't posted as much on there. I'm pretty much focusing on, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and yeah.
Hey, so if nobody knows yet where to find you, they've been living under a rock. Where can they find you on the socials? What socials do you have, and what's the names? Where can they find you?
Well, on TikTok, Jeremy_Littell, Littel, or if it comes back, Littell Johnny, Littel_Johnny. Instagram, I'm Jeremy from TikTok, which I should probably change that name because it's been that name for a long time. And then on Facebook, it's just Jeremy Littell, and that's my one page, and then I've got a comedy page that's comedian Jeremy Littell, and then YouTube, I'm just Jeremy Littell. I forgot, people really, really love these.
Those are badass. I want one. What is that? How many do you need for that?
100,000.
100,000 subscribers.
Yes, on YouTube.
Okay, now I need 900,000 and 900 more, something like that. I have almost 1,000 on there. So
you need 99,000?
99,000 to go.
I got that fairly quick, and I got it by accident. I don't know if it was an accident. I had on one of my TikToks one time, there was some dude that came on there and was like, hey, there is somebody that is on YouTube that has over 150,000 subscribers, and it's nothing but your videos. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I go on there and find out that I can basically copyright. I can copyright all those videos. Like you just put down as a copyright complaint. And so I basically got all of his followers came over to me because none of them were his, and his account got banned because you get 3 strikes on YouTube, you're done.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you get 3 strikes and you're done. And
we're actually live streaming on YouTube right now.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
What up, YouTube?
Yeah. So yeah, that was back in February of 2021, I believe. I lose track, but I'm a little over halfway to get in my milli mark though. I'm at like 670 or something like that.
Is that a gold plate or what?
I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah.
I need something like that.
I didn't even try to like really get it, but then it would have been 10-year-old at the time. It was Anthony. He's like, Dad, you've got over 100,000. He says, you need to get a plaque. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, YouTube gives them out for 100,000. I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know how to get it. He sits down, he goes in, he looks at my stuff, and he's like, it's on its way. Within 5 minutes, he's like, it's on its way. Like, you're 10. How do you know this stuff? So, but yeah.
Yep. Kids these days, man.
It's wild.
My daughter, I'm blown away that my daughter knows how to navigate around a smart TV. She knows how to do it all. She's 6, just turned 6. The 4-year-old, the not even 4-year-old knows now how to do all that. I'm blown away. I have troubles with some of this stuff, and they're just like click, 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 click there. What the hell, man? Like, I was eating dirt and flinging my poop across the room at your age. What the hell?
I was like a little monkey.
Pretty much swinging from the trees.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
Yeah, man. I heard I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but like I heard, just the socials sort of brought your business back to life. It was sort of like on the outs or something like that, or and when you got on there, it helped. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's something you want to talk about or not, but it's something I heard.
Yeah, for sure. So like I had originally said to you, like I wanted to have people like who I was, in order to, support my business and support me and what I'm doing. And so that's where I kind of changed my way of what I'm going to do on social media as far as making videos and doing jokes. And there is this truck that does not know how to back up. And can you hear that beeping so loud?
I can hear the beeping, but like I'm partially deaf from beeping like that happening in the background all the time. I ignore it.
Okay. So anyways, so I had just grown to 1 million followers on TikTok in the heart of COVID. It was really going on in Minnesota. Bars were closed, restaurants were closed. 75% of my business is bars, selling snack food to bars. And we had lost probably close to 65 to 70% of what we're doing. And at this point in time, I had over 1 million and I still was not making any money off of social media. None whatsoever. And I did my first video that was actually talking to people about my business. And I basically just told them, we're a small business. I don't want to have to lay people off. We're down 60, 65%. I said, if you like jerky or somebody that likes jerky, would you please just share this? I said, that's all I'm asking. I would really, really help out. At that time, I'd become friends with Beer Bong John. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know who Beer Bong John is. Yeah.
Yeah, we became friends because he's got family from Milwaukee, and I grew up around that area, and we started talking, and I asked him if he would share it, and he shared the post, and it went mega viral. I remember that night I was in the parking lot at the grocery store, and John calls me and he says, Jeremy, have you looked at Shopify? And I said, I haven't looked at it in a little while. And he says, you need to go on there. And it was like a freaking slot machine, just ding, 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 ding. We had all kinds of orders. I think we had 2,500 orders in a 10-day period.
Wow.
And that single-handedly helped us through that year. And it was huge. I dropped to my knees when I saw it. I started crying in the grocery store. I am the biggest sap that there is. Though I'm like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm emotional. I will cry at it. You put a song on that's the least bit sad, I'm sitting over there crying. But it was.
And my heart will go on and on.
You're going to cry now. Come on. But it was it was good, and that helped us out a lot. And it made me realize that, it's more than just an app. And if you're with the right people, it can be, like a family community. And so.
Absolutely, man. I've said this 100 times too, and a lot of people are just on here messing around. This is a tool. It's a powerful tool. Social media, if used properly, dude, your life changes.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's insane how it's a ride. It's a ride. Hold on tight, because it's a roller coaster ride. You're gonna have your ups and you're gonna have your downs, but you play it properly, man, and it's always a good time.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun on here. I've with Dirty Hands, Clean Money, and the glasses. Like I said, Facebook pays my bills every month now, man. Just from posting videos that I was already making on TikTok over onto Facebook.
Right.
That's insane.
How many you got on Facebook now?
Oh, almost 28K. I'm not anywhere near you. What are you at?
On one page, I'm almost 2 million, and then on my personal, almost 1.3.
Good for you, man. It's a lot of work, man. Do you run it all by yourself? Do you have a social media manager?
100%. Yeah.
That's a lot of work, man. I'm right there with you. And I've got, almost 28K on Facebook. I've got 41K on Instagram. We're at 100,000 between 2 TikTok accounts. The podcast, I work over 100 hours a week. I have a family, and I run it all, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta edit the podcast, which is not really editing. I try not to edit too much, but I gotta pick out clips I want for the teaser trailers. I gotta, set the times when I want it to go out, upload it to YouTube, upload it to the feed, and stuff like that, man.
Right.
And videos, editing, TikTok and YouTube and all that. And man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I also make a lot of it while I'm at work, right? So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
And in Canada, we don't get paid on TikTok. There is no creators fund.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why they don't have that.
Ooh, our tax system isn't friendly, man. Our government doesn't allow that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it has to have something to do with that. I don't know what's going on there, but
Yeah.
I hear Instagram's about to monetize those. So
I've been they started with ads on Reels again for like the last 4 months, maybe. It isn't very much, but it's they've come back. I don't know if it's invite only or what, but the last 4 months I've gotten ads on.
I'll have to look into that. You
can go. You might. I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't invited to do it. I just went on my phone and it was there. Like I had to turn it on. Like I had no idea. So you go to like settings and then business, and then there will be an actual spot there that says ads on Reels. You click on it and you turn it on. That's all I did.
And then like they send you the banking information, or because you're with Meta already on Facebook, you're already like,
Yeah, it goes to the same. It goes to the same.
Dude, what the hell, man? I noticed on the Reels, actually on Instagram and on Instagram and Facebook, I've noticed that and TikTok, I've noticed there's been a lot of suppression on the views lately. It's really hard to get. You gotta work that extra hard for all that stuff. On Instagram, we're climbing back up on Instagram. We're rebounding from that. On Facebook, I have my own ways of getting views over there, and I just share them out to all the groups that I'm in and that are part of that niche. I'm in the oil and gas niche, and there's tons of oil and gas groups. I just share my videos there and let it do its thing. On TikTok, man, I feel like you got to grind a little extra harder for that. You want it, you got to work for it. Here's that carrot, go for it.
You're right. It's changed a lot. I mean, it used to be, you could tell after, mine was like the 21-minute mark of what if my video was going to make it or if it wasn't. Once it hit 21 minutes, it's going to boom. I mean, I remember back in the days when I used to take down so many videos and repost them again, just to take them down and repost them again, just so that they would blow up all the time. Now it don't even matter. I mean, it doesn't. You never know, because it could be 4 or 5 days before it blows up.
Could be a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's happened. Yeah. It's happened. I've gone back and I look back and like, why am I getting more followers? These videos aren't doing so good. You go back down and look, you're like, oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
Right. And that one was like 40 videos ago.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you thought, with social media, TikTok, all that stuff, thought about walking away, just being done with it?
Yes and no. The cool thing about it is, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I tell everyone, recycling your videos is key.
Yep.
You could, if you're not feeling anything, even I've had it where I wasn't feeling like doing hardly anything for a month. I've got enough material that I can repost all of that stuff. And there's times where it's done way better the second time than it did the first time. So if you can use that as a tool and allow yourself to be able to get that time off and to, recoup, rejuvenate, reset, then you'll be all right. You're not gonna want to quit. I mean, because there may be a lot of stress, but the benefits in it are pretty fun, pretty cool. You get to do a lot of cool things, and so I don't think I ever wanted to get out, but there were times where I have taken breaks. I went from making 9 to 12 videos a day down to now I'm doing like 4 to 5 a week.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't know you were making 9 to 12 a day. That's insane.
My first year, I was doing 9 to 12 a day. Yeah. First year.
Wow.
Full year.
Man. I had to do 2 to 3 a day for the first couple of years. I was just like, and I was pumping shit out too, right? Like shit. It was like, oh, this is just a filler. If it pops off, it pops off, right? As long as it's there and I'm in your face, right?
Yeah.
Now it's quality over quantity, right? Like I want it to be good, right?
Yeah.
I want to feel good about it. There are times where I'll go a day or two without posting. There'll be, on my main account, there'll be weeks where I go without posting, right? And I don't even post old stuff over there anymore. Like I went down this morning. I went down that main account. And I'm like, man, this is why this account's suppressed. Like the content over here is good, but like there was a lot of shit there too. You know, like I'm not happy about a lot of it.
Right.
And when you look over to my backup account, which has surpassed my main by more than double, right? I'm like, damn, all right. Because that's, I started, we learn from our mistakes, right? And when I look at that other account, I see a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, all right. Well, let's learn from that. Let's grow from that. And it's a lot of fun, we're rolling right along. And, I don't know where I see it going, but the podcast page, man, with the podcast, this is episode 50. Most podcasts don't make it to episode 20, even less make it to episode 20. Like most don't make it to like 10 or 15, right? And we're at 50. We're here. We're here, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. So do you do it on all platforms like Apple, Spotify, all those?
Yeah. So I post it out to Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, and then I post the video over on YouTube. I'm not monetized over on YouTube yet, but the idea is when that monetization does come, I don't want it to all be shorts, right?
Gotcha.
So, I post the long form content of the podcast over on YouTube when monetization comes. I think it's for every 10 minutes of video you hit an ad, something like that. So you post an hour and a half, 2 hour long podcast video in there, you're hitting ads a few times, right? So, eventually the idea is to monetize with the podcast, right? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen either. I'm cool with that too. This is fun for me. And as soon as you add a dollar figure to it, it becomes like a job, right? So if it never happens, that's fine too. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised you don't have a podcast.
I've talked about it. There's me and another guy that are thinking about doing it, and it's just getting down to getting time, because we thought about we would do one episode a week, but we would shoot it over the weekend. We would do 4 episodes on a Saturday and Sunday. We would do it 1 weekend a month, shoot them all, and then post one a week. And we're working on it still. We'll see what happens. It comes down to a lot the time that we have, especially with this new building that I'm building for a warehouse, and that's taking up a lot of time too. So
what I was doing was, I try to keep 5 or 6 in the chamber, right? That way, if I can't get out to record, at least my next 5 or 6 weeks, I have time to find guests and bring them on and stuff like that. We were getting dangerously close here. We only had like 2 left, and I was like, damn, but the American Thanksgiving weekend put a damper on that, for a whole week there. I couldn't find anyone to come on, and, which is not necessarily true either. It's just the people I was asking. I know I could go and ask other people and they'd come on, but, so what I was doing was I would take 5 days out of the month and I'd just record every night, right? Record every night or when I could. And then I was able to take the rest of the month off and not record anything. Just I'd line people up and I would get the podcast ready to go out, but I didn't have to record. And what that was doing though was you record 5 nights a week, you're talking a lot. And you're talking a lot, you run out of stories to say, and then you get too far ahead and you'd be talking about something that happens in June and it doesn't come out until August, and it's no longer relevant and stuff. So now I'm trying to keep it like 3 to 4 episodes ahead, and not record 5 nights a week, but at least 2. That way I'm still putting some in the chamber, but not as many. And it's been, I think it's been a little bit better that way as well.
Yeah, for me, we've got stuff that I could talk about on a podcast. I would have to have everything planned out, and it, like I said, it would be 2 of us that are doing it. And so sometimes if there was only one of us that would be able to do it, like do an interview, that would be able to work out as well. When you're doing it by yourself, you got all that work, all of it onto you. And I think it's a lot harder, but you're doing it, man. And to get to 50 I'm proud of you. That's freaking awesome. I love it.
Well, with bonus episodes, we have like 53 or 54 episodes out now, right? But that's with bonus episodes. So there's a couple out there too that I've recorded that I can't post. One's a conflict of interest with people that I'm associated with, and one is one that we did a live stream of that. Some things were said that I didn't get banned on the live stream for it, but maybe I'm keeping it for just in case I don't have anything for that week. Right. I don't know. It's just sitting there. It's been like 6 months since I recorded it, and I'm just like, what? Also keeping, so there's like 2 or 3 that are like, hey, if I'm in a real bind, here I'll throw those out, right?
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. But hey, you know what, man? It's a lot of work. But hey, what's sleep, right? We'll sleep when we die.
You're right. As long as you're keeping busy, you're keeping honest. Well, for the most part. Yeah.
Hey, idle hands at the devil's playground, buddy.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Are you starting to get busy over there? I don't know how much time you have and whatnot. But if you're
I got
running.
The guy's got a meeting coming in like 15 minutes. And so,
okay.
This is like my office is like, it's a community office. When we're building our other one, I'll have more of a personal office. But yeah, we've got different shipping guys that are coming in that are wanting to check some things out with us. And that's the one thing about this business is I probably have 15 to 20 different freight companies that contact us weekly. It's like, man.
Wow. Man,
Yeah.
you're killing it, dude. You're killing it. I gotta order me some jerky. That'll make me twerky, you know?
Very twerky jerky.
the meat sweats. Well, before I let you go, and I thank you for, you know, being so gracious with your time. It's an hour and a half is a long time to sit down
great.
and when you're busy. But I have, you know, I like to end the podcast with, you know, one more question. And, you know, Mount Rushmore, it has the 4 most influential people in history up on that rock. History-ish. If you could have your own Mount Rushmore, four people that you look up to or inspire to be like, who would they be and why?
You asked this and everyone?
Everyone, buddy.
And you throw it at me.
We spent an hour and a half talking about being erect and talking about, you know, thick loads and all this other shit. And at the end, I just throw, who do you inspire to be like?
Who would I inspire to be like?
Yeah.
I mean, so it would be like my own personal one. I mean, it wouldn't be just something that's up there for the whole world to see, though. It would be like the top 4 people that I really look up to.
Yeah, you were forged in fire around, you know, you follow down their path or whatever.
Okay.
They could be some people that are up there now. Some people have said, you know, some people that are up there, they could be dead, alive, real, fake. Doesn't matter. Rocky Balboa could literally be on your Mount Rushmore because of the, you know, I got to do what I could do, Adrian, you know? And you know.
Well, if we're going to go off of like the top 4 most influential people in my life, well, number 1 would be my dad. My dad has been one that has been in sales his whole entire life and has kind of took me under his wing ever since I was 3 years old. I was going on routes with him started with selling juice to jerky. And he really, you know, helped me develop who I am as far as like into sales and the type of person that I am too. So I really look up to my dad. As far as if we would go business, it'd be a tie. Like I told you, like I mentioned him twice. It was Rob Deerdeck, on how this guy took his life as a professional skateboarder and kind of put everything out there and made an empire out of it. And now he's got his own podcast and where he's talking about like how he's really it's like a purpose-driven life. I know that was a book. I never read it, but I would say him. Another, but that goes side by side with him would be like Gary Vee. Like Gary Vee is freaking like light years ahead of people out there. And it's just, there's a lot to learn from that guy. I mean, you can take some of it with a grain of salt. There's 3 eagles that are flying by here. Some of it with a grain of salt, but the guy, I mean, just listening to him has been just great. The 4th one, I mean, that's going to be a little tough. Can it be female?
It's designed to be. It could be anyone, man. It could be a they, he, she. Could be
all right.
You know, could be anyone you want. Hey, man, you look up to whoever.
Yeah. And see another one. This would be personal. It would be probably like my Aunt Linda. She was one that was more like my mom to me, like my whole entire life growing up. Like was really, really influential in my life as being a feminine figure there that was really close. She drove dump truck her whole life for work, and she retired when she was like 65, And when she retired, 3 months after that, she was driving to pick up my cousin and was at a highway where her wheels were kind of turned left, and a truck came in and hit behind her, pushed her right out onto oncoming traffic, and she died. I mean, it killed her instantly. But you think about that, you're driving a dump truck for your whole entire life.
Yep.
3 months after you retire, you're gone. And so,
man, you hear a lot of those stories though, right? Where people like they work their whole lives, they grind it out for retirement, they retire and they go, they pack it in, right?
Right.
Like obviously hers wasn't like, health reasons or like, she didn't choose that chose her, right? And that's wild. Like, I'm gonna retire and like, in a twisted set of fate or twisted cruel fate or whatever the hell you want to say that.
Yeah.
It was like Final Destination. Remember that movie Final Destination?
Yeah.
How many times did she almost, get hit or hit someone else when she was in the truck? You know what I mean? How many times did she get cut off?
Yeah.
How many times, and then, retirement, boom, done.
Yeah.
That's sad, man.
Yeah. It's wild.
Shout out to Aunt Linda. What up, Aunt Linda?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would say, as far as like influential business wise, family wise, that would probably be my top 4.
Hell yeah, man. That's sick. You find out that the reason why I asked that question, my boss asked that question, all of us in orientation, like 5-6 years ago. And it really made me think, and my answers at the time were a little goofy, but like whatever. And then, but for me, it's like you show, you ask someone who they look up to, their answers will tell you a lot about them, right? And, what path they're on or, how they see themselves even.
Right. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I
Hell
like
yeah,
that.
man.
I'm going to be doing interviews in the next year once we get this store open. So that might be a question. I like that.
Do it, man. Do it. Hell yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. No, thank you.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Definitely.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, buddy, thanks for coming on. It's been 8 months in the making, but hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad you were available for episode 50, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're here.
Pumped. I'm
so glad, man. Hell yeah, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on. This has been my baby for like almost a year now. 50 weeks it's been my baby for, like I get excited to record. I get pumped. I get excited for a whole week just pushing it out, being like, hey, look who's coming on, right? And then I get pumped on the release day where it comes out at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesdays. And, I get pumped. I wake up and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, all right, there's 12 hours to go. Let's do this, right? 12 hours. It's like a countdown, an hour to go. And then it comes out and I love seeing, the progress we've made. And I love seeing people like to listen to it. I like the feedback. The feedback's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun for me, and reaching out to people that, I wouldn't necessarily think about ever reaching out to or that I would think would even talk to me ever. Like I'm trying to get Mike Rowe on right now from Dirty Jobs.
That would be awesome.
And, like I had Ed the Sock. You probably don't know who Ed the Sock is, but I talked to Ed the Sock way back on episode 11. And he said, sometimes trying is the funniest part. Not the funnest part, the funniest part. You reach out to these people and you're like, that's funny. Imagine if he gets back to me. Could you imagine that? And then all of a sudden you get an email. And like, let's do it. And it's like, holy shit, this guy just said yes. He not only did he message me back, but he's down. Oh my God.
Right. I hope so, man.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you get going to your meeting there, buddy, and I appreciate you coming on and taking the time out. This has been a blast. So.
All right, I had a good time. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. We'll have to do it again when it's episode 150.
That's 100. You're not going to talk to me for 100 weeks?
Well, I mean, we can do it prior, but I mean, 150 is going to be like Huge.
That's a grind.
Yeah.
That's a grind. All right, man. You're penciled in for episode 150. Don't you forget it, bud.
I won't. All right, man. Sounds good.
Right.
Take care. Have a good one.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Stay frosty.
I will. Frosty as I
All
can
right,
stay. All right.
Take her easy, eh? And if she's easy, take her twice.
All right. Sounds good.